Social media plays a big part in a lot of people's day-to-day lives. And if you're like 26-year-old Alexis Sharkey, it's your job. Alexis was a girl who truly seemed to have it all. Money, good looks, social media fame, and seemingly the perfect marriage. But on a day that seemed to be like any other, Alexis would disappear, raising questions about her picture-perfect life on social media and exposing a dark truth between her marriage to her husband Tom. This would cause a truly shocking turn of events and further change the lives of many people. This is the case of Alexis Sharkey. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Wicked and Wild, where we cover all types of true crime, whether solved or unsolved, terrifying and tragic, or just plain wicked and wild. I'm your host, Tyler, here to give you exactly what you came for. And with that being said, let's jump right into it. On January 25th, 1994, Alexis Sharkey, as she's better known, was born Alexis Leigh Robinot in Warren, Pennsylvania. Alexis was raised alongside her two younger sisters to parents Michael and Stacy Robinot. She would grow up in Youngsville, Pennsylvania, attending and later graduating from Youngsville High School in 2012. During her time in high school, she discovered her fierce passion for fashion and modeling, even working with many modeling agencies after graduation. Alexis, apart from being incredibly beautiful, was actually a very intelligent woman as well. She went on to university, and in 2016, she graduated from the University of Pittsburgh at Bradford with a major in biology and two minors, one in nutrition and one in psychology. Alexis wanted to further her education by going to medical school, but after already working so hard through college, she decided she wanted to take some time off before making that huge commitment. During high school and college, she had always talked about traveling, getting to see the world, meet new people. Especially coming from a small town, Alexis wanted to enjoy her life a little. She started this new adventure by moving to Odessa, Texas, and getting a job at Twin Peaks, which, for those of you who don't know, is a restaurant very similar to Hooters. And having been there myself, I really recommend it. It's a great place to go. Alexis, having very good looks and a confident personality, fit into her new job like a glove, and quickly made friends with the other girls that worked there. It's no surprise she was making great money and tips too, with friends and family throughout her life saying Alexis pulled people in with her charm and just made you feel comfortable and important. In 2017, she had gotten engaged, but ultimately called the wedding and the relationship off. She was absolutely heartbroken from this, even though she was the one who had called it all off, claiming that she felt like if she had made the commitment, feels like she would be grounded for life and wouldn't be able to enjoy the fruits that life without a leash had to offer. She was racked with guilt, but eventually, with the support of friends and family, Alexis would get through her heartbreak and soon found herself getting close to one of the regulars at Twin Peaks, a customer named Tom Sharkey. Tom was a well-liked guy at Twin Peaks, always being nice, funny, and respectful. Tom, who had two children and already once divorced, was a consultant in the oil fields, and because of this, was a very well-traveled guy. Alexis couldn't help but be attracted to Tom, even though she was 20 years his junior, with Tom being in his early 40s and Alexis her early 20s. Tom was a big, muscular guy who had seen much of the world, and that's what she wanted. Alexis realized that she was spending all of her time working and didn't want to waste all of her prime years, and so she looked for other avenues of income that could offer her the freedom that she so desperately wanted. One of these avenues was an MLM company called Monet. MLM stands for multi-level marketing, and is usually the method used in many pyramid schemes. MLMs work like this. The people at the top of the pyramid, usually the people who started the company, offering a product or products, as well as offering you a way to make money with them by becoming a distributor. You can become a distributor by paying a fee, which often includes a starter kit with products and marketing materials. As a distributor, you'll sell the company's products directly to customers and earn a commission on the products you sell. You can also recruit other people to become a distributor under you. When they join, they become a part of your downline. You'll earn a percentage of sales they make and also a portion of the sales made by the people they recruit, and so on, forming multiple levels. Monet in particular doesn't have the best reputation and has had several lawsuits against them, both for deception and fraud. Either way, Alexis thrived in this business, being very beautiful, well-spoken, and smart, She was a perfect person for this job, and with the power of social media, quickly built a strong following online and had many people below her already in Monet. Within a month of starting with Monet, Alexis quit her job at Twin Peaks and shortly after became an executive director for Monet, proving her friends and family right, saying that she had always a way of just bringing you in and making you feel comfortable and a part of something. Alexis apparently hated the term influencer, but realistically, that's what she was, and she was great at it. She quickly went from making good money from tips at Twin Peaks to about $35,000 a month. This was mostly in part to her role in social media like Instagram, posting constantly and showing off the great lifestyle she was now living and inspiring other people to make the jump and give it a shot. By the summer of 2019, Alexis and Tom would get engaged, and Tom, seeing the value in social media, even started to appear alongside his new fiancée in her posts. With both of them loving to travel, the newly engaged couple decided they wanted a change, and in August of 2019 decided to move to Colorado and getting married that December. But after just 5 short months, the now newlyweds returned to Texas in January 2020, this time in Houston. Moving to a new area can be hard and for some people, even a lengthy process. But for Alexis, a girl who loved everything about life and wanted to enjoy every second of it, it was an opportunity to meet new people. Very quickly, she downloaded an app that was for people in the same area who also wanted to make new friends. This is where she would meet her best friend, Tanya Ricardo, eventually forming their own new friend group along with other young ladies. When the newly organized friend group would go out on couples nights, Alexis always came alone. And this is when her friends realized that Alexis never even talked about her husband. When Alexis and her friend in November later that same year went to Tulum, Mexico, it was the first time she had traveled without Tom and hadn't posted him online either. She'd even post a photo of herself in Tulum on Instagram to announce that she was going to up and move there, stating that, "I've never been so obsessed with the vibe of a town in my life." Unfortunately, this would be the last photo Alexis would ever post to Instagram, unaware that in just 6 days, she would lose everything that she'd worked so hard for, and much more. Later that month, on November 26, Thanksgiving Day, Alexis posted online showing her Thanksgiving Day off surrounded by friends, but again, no sight of Tom. The next day was November 27th. It was Black Friday, and just like the rest of the world, Alexis was expected to post online about the Black Friday Monet product sales, but didn't make a single post at all. This was very strange for a person who lived their entire life on social media and always posted every single day. Her friends didn't hear from her either until later that day at 5:30 p.m., asking if they would want to go out and party with her, but no one was able to, and they all agreed to reschedule for a movie hangout the next day. But just hours later at 11 p.m. that same night, Tom would contact one of the boyfriends of Alexis's friends, John. Tom texted John to ask if anyone has seen or heard from Alexis because he hasn't seen her for a while. After John asked around and was told by the girls they hadn't heard from her other than planning the movie night, John called Tom to figure out what's going on. This is when Tom would explain that he and Alexis got into an argument and she left storming out of the house, getting into a black vehicle before leaving. But John felt something off about Tom's story, most likely due to Tom changing the story and details a few times during that same phone call. Tom would say she left barefoot but then changing it to she left in running shoes, also claiming that she had jumped over their own fence before getting into that black car, which doesn't make any sense at all. The next day, Saturday, November 28th, 2020, when the stay-in movie night was planned at Tanya's, Alexis still wasn't answering and hadn't been seen. Her friends were immediately worried but tried to not panic. Tanya decided to go to the home of Alexis and Tom to see if she could find her there, but no one was home. Tanya then called Alexis's mom, but was shocked to find out she had already been contacted by Tom and told the same story about the fight in the black car. Later that same day, Alexis's group of friends filed a missing person report and even posted online about Alexis's disappearance in hopes of finding her. Alexis's mother even posted online pleading with the public about her missing daughter. What Alexis's friends and family didn't know is that Alexis had been found that same day. A Houston City garbage truck was making its rounds when the driver saw something up ahead on the side of the road. As the driver got closer, he tried to make out what it was, and as he passed, he thought it was a naked mannequin that someone had tossed. The driver wasn't sure, but just to be safe, he called his supervisor to tell him about what he had seen. The supervisor told him to keep making his rounds and that he would go out himself to investigate. When the supervisor, John Richardson, got to the area and walked up, he was shocked to discover it was the naked body of a young woman. Supervisor Richardson didn't know it, but he had just found Alexis Sharkey, but sadly, she was gone. Richardson immediately called police to the scene, with police now having the incredibly hard job of finding out who this woman is and why she was left on the side of the road. Police didn't have any clues to go off of. There was nothing. No clothing, no phone, no ID. Strangely enough, Alexis's body was clean, with the waste worker even saying it's as if she had just stepped out of a bath. Another weird observation is that Alexis's body was laid almost in the fetal position, as if someone had placed her that way intentionally. Luckily, with the missing person report that Alexis's friends put out, cops were able to connect the dots, and that this body was in fact Alexis. Police then located and asked Tom to come positively ID the body, which he did, with the police then notifying Alexis's friends and family. Heartbreakingly, Alexis's mother, who had just previously posted online both hoping and asking for help to locate her daughter, would now post online to let the public know of the devastating news. Unfortunately, with Alexis's body being clean and with no visible wounds, police weren't originally treating this case as a homicide. Of course, with Alexis being incredibly popular on social media, many people started to make their own conspiracies about her death. But that's all they really were, conspiracies. Police did interview friends and family about the strange circumstances of Alexis's death, and after concerns were brought up by Alexis's friends concerning her marriage to Tom, claiming the couple were preparing for a divorce and that, in fact, they had serious marital problems for a while. Alexis's friends even telling police that while in Tulum, Mexico, she met a DJ named Sebastian, claiming that Alexis didn't want to cheat on Tom, so they never hooked up. But they did hang out a lot and seemed to hit it off great. Sebastian wasn't who the cops were interested in though, because her friends also told police that the married couple didn't just have problems. Alexis had told her friends that she was in fear for her life from Tom, and that he would even choke her for fun and constantly abuse her. In fact, they had already split their bank accounts, and the paperwork was all written up and just in need of a signature from both parties. On top of all these apparent claims, the most suspicious being that her body was found just miles from their shared apartment, and that Tom hadn't filed a missing persons report, but it was Alexis's friends that did. Cops continued to stay in contact with Tom, but it became apparent that every time Tom would explain what had happened the last time he saw Alexis, his story would continue to change. Tom would get harassed constantly by people online, even getting death threats from time to time. Tom would continue defending his stories and himself with multiple posts, even doing a radio interview explaining how Alexis was the one always out of control, and him always having to come to her rescue. By January 18th, 2021, 51 days since Alexis's body had been discovered, her body had still not made it home to her parents in Pennsylvania. Her parents had already spoke to Tom about the plans of bringing her body back to her childhood home immediately after receiving the tragic news. Outraged, Alexis's parents demanded answers from officials, realizing a mistake had been made. Alexis's body had been listed as Alexis Robinot, and showing that Tom was her next of kin and not her parents. This mistake gives Tom's the say-so over what happened, but very suspiciously, Tom had still not claimed his wife's body. This was now a big problem, especially since Tom had completely stopped answering Alexis's parents, even after promising them time and time again to ship her clothes, items, and 3 cats to them, due to his in-laws constantly asking for their daughter's property. After weeks of inaction from Tom over the claiming of his wife's body, the coroner's office showed a very humane side and ceded the body of Alexis back to her parents, who would have a viewing and funeral soon after, and of course, with Tom not being invited, nor did he make any attempt to show up or even care. This investigation would take a turn on January 19, 2021, when Alexis's cause of death was determined, revealing the cause of death by strangulation, and officially turning this case into a homicide investigation. This was a big deal, and between the tips from Alexis's friends, the changing of Tom's stories, and the suspicious circumstances of her death relating to Tom, it wasn't looking good for the abusive musclehead. Cops decided to act after weeks of Tom stopping all communication with police. Police desperately tried to make contact with Tom with no luck and no sighting of him at all. That is, until months later when Tom was located in Georgia and contacted by police in August to meet and give a DNA sample, which Tom willingly agreed to. The date for the meetup came and went, and with Tom a no-show, police would get an arrest warrant for Tom Sharkey on September 29, 2021. Police looked into Tom's family immediately, and it soon paid off. While doing surveillance into his daughter's home in Fort Myers, Florida, it was confirmed that Tom was in fact living in his daughter's house. Police decided to move in almost instantly, and on October 6, 2021, they made their move. Police rushed Tom's daughter's house, banging on the door, when Tom's daughter and her partner answered. After police secured the couple, they went through the house to find Tom in one of the bedrooms, laid across a bed with a gun next to him. Tom had shot himself in the head before police could arrest him, being pronounced dead at the scene. Tom took the coward's way out, along with taking away any further closure for Alexis's family and friends. Tom was the only suspect in his wife's murder, based on evidence, statements from family and friends, and his evasiveness. There is a saying, guilty men don't run, and Tom was a runner, along with being a liar, manipulator, and now allegedly a killer. Alexis's friends, family, and supporters are all convinced that Tom was definitely the one to bring Alexis's life to a terribly short end. Police even saying he was the only person who had a means, motive, and opportunity. Alexis was a stunningly beautiful person inside and out. She had the brains to go with the looks and was a winner no matter what way you cut it. Graduating university in the top 2%, she was someone who knew what she wanted. It's impossible to find any negativity on this woman. In fact, it's the complete opposite. She was a great businesswoman, friend, daughter, and sister. She was able to make anyone feel a part of something, showing that if you're not happy with your circumstances, then take a chance and change your life. Get a different job, change your surroundings, your partners. Alexis was known to always be happy, friendly, and goal-driven, and had she not been robbed of her beautiful life, I have no doubt that Alexis would be someone on all of our social media feeds. First, I just want to say that I send my sincere condolences to the friends and family of Alexis. This case was particularly heartbreaking, especially because Alexis wasn't someone to sit around and just go through life just riding the waves. She was willing to make something of herself, and when she didn't like something, she was going to change it and really strive to be at the top. I think Tom was just scared of his strong, independent woman going and meeting other people, having other relationships, because she was the winner in the relationship. She was the one that was very outgoing. She was willing to just go out and enjoy life and meet people and make something of herself. And Tom is just an old, burnt out, divorced 40-year-old guy who knows if he even saw his kids ever. I mean, if he's willing to abuse his wife, I can't imagine what he was like behind closed doors. I really hope you guys like this story. And again, I said in the last video I bought a house. I'm sorry it's been 2 weeks since my last video, but I'm busy working, and then after work I'm painting the whole inside. So researching, writing, editing, all this stuff takes time, and hopefully after this week we can get back to one video a week. But thank you guys so much for the support. I mean, I can't believe how big the channel had gotten after that last video. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the kind words. So with that being said, let me know what you guys thought of this video, what you think about the case, what you think about everything, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.